Everybody, welcome to another episode of Various Fields. My name is Hazen Fields II.
I'm Hazen Fields III.
I'm Lex.
And we are so happy to be here with all of us today. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, honestly, I can't say that.
Well,
I myself am fine.
Yes.
Am I okay? Yeah.
Interesting.
Good asterisks.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, both of you, very much like myself, we're feeling good personally, but we're kind of showing or saying that on a bigger sense, we're not as happy.
Yeah.
Now, why is that?
Because honestly, I think there's a lot that's affecting our communities as well as the nation as a whole that I know is going to play a troubling role in a lot of people's lives down the line. And I can't really sit idly by and just be comfortable with that all in all.
I think personally it's kind of interesting because honestly, I had a great day yesterday. Me and my brother played D&D. I had some waffles. I was with friends, and I was thinking about it. I'm like, this is a great day, but something is bothering me. And I was like, what is that thing? I was like, oh, it's the inevitable rise of fascism.
Well, let me give a demonstration. And because of the fact we are technically family, and there's a world family, I just wanted to do some. I'm going to hit Lexington. I want you to.
Don't do that.
No, I just want to.
Don't do that. Why would you do that?
How does that make you feel?
I feel uncomfortable. Why would you do that? You're doing it again. Cease your actions right now.
What you're saying, even though I'm not hitting you and I just hit Lexington. Okay, all right. Wow.
Oh, now he's attacking himself. I don't know what to do with that.
Wow, alien. Wow. Whoa. Yikes. Anyway.
Symbolism.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. That's a lot of symbolism.
Think about that.
But with that very extraordinary demonstration, we found out that even though I'm tapping or hitting him, it's affecting you. And that brings up community. I believe that we are all of a local community as well as a worldwide community. In fact, there are organizations that have been set up in the world, like NATO and World Health Organizations, that are global organizations that are designed to try to help the world community. And various fields. We believe in community. We believe in trying to. And right here in our studio, we want to do what we can to nudge the needle forward. So today we're going to talk about our personal endeavors to assist in what we believe in growing the community, but also we're going to speak a little bit about what's happening in the nation itself.
Yeah.
So where should we begin?
I'll start with an anecdote that I thought something that happened to me that was funny because I think I told you guys, but I never got a chance to tell the public. I accidentally ended up in a protest.
Right.
And I want to tell that because it's a funny story, but also an important one. I have a friend who is a part of actually a group that I think this would be great to let them know. Part of a group that's called 5051, which does technically protests all around the nation opposing Trump and opposing Elon Musk and all the things that they're doing because they're doing illegal stuff. But I wasn't able, because of my job, I wasn't able to actually actively go to the protest, at least so I thought. The initial plan was to help them with some of the posters that they had, because I have some posters ideas where they're going to do the protest. I knew a little bit about the area, so I was going to guide into that area and then help them kind of carry the posters and then leave at a time. But the way the timing worked out, and where we are right now, it was very icy, so I had to kind of took a little more time getting there. Then about the time we got, and I was helping them go to the protest. I was ended up handing out posters, so I was there a little bit longer. Then one of my friends started to speak, but I had to get back to them, so I was going to talk to them for a second. But then they had just started speaking when I was talking to them, so I kind of stayed right next to them while there were cameras there.
Right.
And then I'm like, all right, let me sneak away in my car. This is the best time to sneak away in the car. So when I start leaving to my car, the whole protest kind of starts going around the block. So now I'm with the group. And then legitimately, this is bad, but at the same time, it happened. Kind of got, unfortunately, an old lady had fallen. And then, everyone was concerned about her, but she was going my same direction. So I'm like, we'll walk her to her car so she's good. And everyone's like, oh my God, look at him supporting. I'm like, all right. And long story short, I became very invested into this protest. And numbers were traded in
That's hilarious.
And now we're in some level of coordination. So invest in your community, people. At any point and at any time, it's appropriate to support what you believe in, especially when you least expect it. That is what I've learned.
That's hilarious because, of course, with the various fields mindset, you make me think of throughout history some of our great leaders where they accidentally in a protest, was Martin Luther King just telling somebody, I had a dream the other day. The lights on. I had a dream today that all the people,
funny. So you're saying that the entire speech was just improv talking about somebody else? That
just
is
something,
crazy.
Makes you think Abraham Lincoln was just playing golf.
There you go.
Four score. And 7 years ago.
Horrible.
How many of our great leaders were accidentally put into place, the members of SNCC.
I was playing volleyball, and I said I was fighting them on the beaches. I'd fight you on the land. Oh my God!
Okay.
I was asking for a snack. Someone said SNCC, and all right, now we're demeaning those things.
Right.
But let's turn it to the positive. So obviously, it couldn't have happened that way.
Right.
All of our leaders were intentional and took great risks to help us move our the various organizations and various ideals forward. So without their shoulders to stand upon, we would not be where we are today.
Right.
So if anyone thought us being disrespectful, we were just, joshing about. So,
I also wanted to say, I know that there was a little bit of an online rally cry, right? I found it on a Facebook message, as well as some people might have found it on TikTok, YouTube, whatever the case may be. There was a call to action to boycott a great deal of businesses and industries on the 28th of February, right? And again, during this time, I'm also seeing a lot of people criticize the boycott because a lot of people would, in fact, the whole point of the boycott was to make sure that you didn't make any purchases of a lot of big conglomerates or big businesses like McDonald's, Walmart, or anything else that would have been owned like a chain, large chains. But I know a lot of people may also have in the habit of realizing, we're having an entire day not to purchase anything, right? So I'm going to stock up on the things that I might need before the day, right? And make sure that I'm prepared to go without on the day after.
Right.
And I'm aware that gets its criticism because it kind of defeats the purpose of the whole boycott, right? I know that there are other chains going out there of how to boycott as well, right? And how to move forward and letting the bigger conglomerates, however you want to call, however you want to nation them. We got medicine, big pharma, or like big tech, however you want to do it, right? I know that there's a lot of people that's trying to show them and hurt them where it hurts the most in their pockets, right? The whole point is to basically make sure that you avoid business with them as best as you can, and not let me prepare to go without for an entire day. If it is to hurt them, they need to see the hurt and not just see an influx in price changes, right, from one day to the next. Because if everyone said, we just didn't buy anything on the 28th, we bought it on the 27th, it kind of defeats the purpose. Right.
Sorry.
No,
I want to say this, just to let you know, the concept of showing the nation people's economic importance, so oftentimes being the workers, oftentimes people will diminish how important they are. Your buying dollars are what built these great conglomerates,
right?
And this is still done, and I feel like my family, one of the few families to do it. But I don't know if you recognize that since 1969, there's something called Black Solidarity Day. You might have heard us mention it, and it's the Monday before Election Day, and this was started in 1969, and it really focused on the Black community because oftentimes the Black community, we talk about the importance of our dollars, and what can we do? But It just every Monday before Election Day, if those in the African American community, and I dare say the Black and brown community, decide to say, we're not going to buy anything, from any, that was the point, to make that point. So I'm just saying, although this concept was wonderfully followed, but we are doing something now and have been doing it since 1969. If you want to get on board, don't forget Black Solidarity.
And also don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you like what you're seeing right here, right? We understand that we are in, as we know it, as we see it, right? We are in troubling times and troubling times ahead, right? We are concerned for our country, just like any other fellow countrymen, right? You may not have to agree with us, but for those that do, just keep an eye on us and as we follow these current events to see how we can understand and help the community better with the information that we provide.
And I like the direction this is all going, because we're talking about community, but also something that has been standing out for me is also, I think there's a combination of things. For every individual, if you're watching this or if you're going out there, you're sharing this, whatever the case is, for every individual, I think sometimes it can be just not just troubling times, but exhausting times. So most people have work, family, kids, loved ones, school, a bunch of other things that are on their mind that feels very overwhelming to deal. Like, what can I do? And I think the thing to always realize is to just individually do what you can. And do what you can means, hey, if you just talk to a friend and you're just sharing how you feel, that's being part of the community. If you are going out there and saying, hey, I'm just going to reach out to someone I haven't talked to in a minute, see how they're doing, that's being part of the community. If you're saying, I don't feel like very comfortable, I don't want like putting my face out there on camera, being from the protest, do some artwork, make a poster and give it to somebody. That's literally your name, but you don't have to be, but there's so many ways to contribute to things. But I think the main thing is also just being intentional about what you're fighting against. Being intentional. You don't have to, there's climate change to worry about, there's wars to worry about, there's the federal and all this USA that's being type of stuff. Pick something that you feel that either you're most passionate about, most knowledgeable about, something that you maybe affects you the most, or something that you feel like is, you would already naturally kind of care about, and just focus on it. You don't have to be overwhelmed by all the things, and then find other people like-minded in community that do that, because that's how you gain strength. That's how you kind of gain momentum. Because that's the thing, at least I, in my experience, have been realizing that it's very overwhelming for a lot of people. And I know a lot of my friends and people who are very passionate and want to do something, but it's like the direction and like the what do we do is the kind of the hard part. And I've, at least the thing that has helped me, this is actually advice I've gotten from a podcast of Stacey Abrams that they have. That's called, I'm pretty sure the podcast is called Assembly Required. And they're saying, essentially pick one thing, focus on it. That's how you do a good job. And another podcaster that's from another YouTube channel called Adam Conover was talking about how much starting something is just, the group you're a part of doesn't have to be this crazy political, we've always been in it protesting for years and years group. It could be your family. It could be like, hey, we do barbecues every once in a while. It can be a D&D group. It could be comic book, movie, whatever the case is. Talk about it, see what, and honestly, the last thing is just make sure that everyone in your group is in some form okay. It doesn't have to become therapy sessions, but sometimes this is weighing on people a little bit more than they think. If you open up a little bit, maybe your group doesn't feel comfortable talking about politics because they feel it's too much. But if you open up like, hey, this is bothering me, this is affecting me, how do you feel? And you know how to do it safely. I think sometimes people expressing will help them understand their own ideals, and you can kind of get things started that way too.
Yeah, to echo my son, we're living in times where people are becoming more contentious in their conversation. I think even on last week we might have spoken about how to have appropriate conversation. But to say that now is the time to open your heart, open your doors, open yourself to people and say, how are you doing? It's so important because there are a lot of people. You'll start to see a lot of sites that are coming up where people are actually doing that, just to verbalize your concerns and your hurts and your ideas, and because we're living in, and as my other son had said, we're living in kind of tumultuous times. So we really we need to do that. So how do we hear begin to help community?
This is just one way. Obviously, we speaking to you may not feel like a large impact on the situations as a whole, right? But at the very least, we will do our best to provide information and to provide a voice to let you know that we are not okay with how things are going, all right? We should not stay idle. We should not stay still. We need to be able to move, right? It doesn't always have to be dumpster fires and flipped cars, but if there is a way to get someone's attention, it is through action nonetheless. All right. So asking your friend on how they're doing, right? Checking in on your family and any other your coworkers to see what their day is like and what their situation is like, what information that they can bring to the table or any other protest that they may be aware of, right? You can join that in solidarity with them to let you know that you're part of the numbers that do in fact count. All right. So it's don't just listen to us and say, well, they're handling it. Don't just listen to us and say someone's going to take care of it. You are part of that rising voice of opposition, all right? Be part of the numbers and fight back, honestly.
That's right. Well, just to let you know, at this table, the Various Fields table, where we're here at Only Way Out Studios with Nels and all the family here, we have made a commitment to our local and regional area to bring forth voices regardless of what it is, that are moving the needle forward in a positive manner. So if you find this table interesting, if you find the cut of our jib to be something that you believe that you can hang out with, if you have something, be it art, be it business, whatever it is, we're here to open up this table to promote not only you, but to promote community, for us to be able to, because you know what's happening. I believe we're starting to look at the value of the small, what they used to call mom and pop shops.
Right.
What's happening is, imagine a world where we go back to the time of just the small stores where each individual business person took care of their local community.
Right.
Dollars went in and got spread around. And we've lost that because of the ease of going to a conglomerate. And oftentimes, because of the monies that they've gathered, they indeed can offer things at a lower price. But to what end? Do we gain the world to lose our soul? Sometimes that means if we're going to a store that does not have our political views, that means you're buying from a wolf who would eat you, if in fact you are the sheep that are, purchasing from the wolf. I don't know if that analogy.
No,
Very Little Red Riding Hood.
Very Little Red Riding Hood.
That's why.
Well done.
Well, I do like that.
Yeah.
I do like the direction that you guys are going, right? But I think it's even more so just an awareness that like all the convenience stores, right? That, not just convenience stores, but like the stores of convenience more specifically, the supermarkets, all right, that have more to offer, right? Definitely have robbed us of community, all right? And not even just so the fact of like, they are here, so they're buying out all the mom and pop shops, more specifically, because of the fact I know there are days if you go to a mom and pop shop, whatever the name might be, right, and you're looking for a specific brand that you might be used to, all right, there's two things that might happen, right? You might not find it there on the shelves, and then two, disregard a subsequent brand that might do exactly what you're looking for to find exactly what you're used to all the time, right? It might break you out of your comfort zone, admittedly, right? But it is wonderful to kind of like spread community around, which we definitely lost post-COVID, I would imagine, all right? To kind of like ask questions as to where else something can be found within that community, right? I would imagine that other store owners of that same bracket would know fellow store owners that might be able to help one another, trades back and forth, right? From one store to the other to say, would you be able to help me out from here? Would you be able to assist this customer here? They would be very good at customer service, all in all, just to be able to like point you in the right direction, as opposed to like, I'm sorry, it's not on shelf, it's not in stock, can't help you.
Right.
And then you have to go to another region, to go to another Walmart to find, hopefully within their multitude of aisles, exactly one bottle that you could have easily found right next door to you.
Right. So are you suggesting incoming dad joke. Are you suggesting that when they steal from our communities, they're Robin Hood?
Okay.
Say,
Can we get like a little alert edit? Coming dead.
Coming
dead. Caution sign.
That's the level of humor you'll get right here. Not only that, but I do want to say, we record in the upstate New York region. If you are within that vicinity and you're willing to come out into this area, we will try to do our version of showing a kindness for your travels as best we can.
Oh, nice.
Because we appreciate you. However, if you're local and you recognize that we're trying to invest in the community and you'd like to be at this table with us, please put in the comments section. Email us. Is that what we do?
You have an email in the comment section.
Okay, email us a comment section and say what you're doing, what you like. We will, if you can understand, we will do our version of vetting because we want to be careful of who we put on the stage. But our hearts are to those who are like-minded, those who have a positive influence in their arena. We'd like to showcase you. So tell your neighbor, tell your friend, call your cousins and sisters and aunts, brothers and fathers, and I guess I don't have to do that.
No, you're good.
Okay, but bring all these people to the table and let them know that various fields and the table here in upstate New York want to speak to you. We want to speak with you.
Right. And on that, also, I was thinking about this. If you can comment as well, what do you find important? What does community mean to you? What's important to you in your specific community? Community mean family? When you think of community, what is the first thing that comes to mind? Is community, I go to this local cafe and I speak with all my friends that I'm also in college with? Or is it like doing a barbecue with your friends and family? But just in general, I think, because not only is that something to comment on and talk about what's important, but that's also what is important to you. That's also what you're fighting for when you put in and you start thinking in the way of there's not always someone in the way to quote unquote come and save us. I have to put myself in the position to be there and to be the protector of my community and be not even a protector, responsible for my community. And kind of going back to your original question while minding the time of talking about what we're all, doing, I think something I've noticed, like I said, I've worked in film and news and all that stuff. I don't really know exactly the best way to be like, to welcome people to the resistance. I don't think I know how to do that quite yet.
Yes.
However, something I've been capable of in my community and also things I've been doing for a while is networking. That's a big thing. So I'm like, what I am going to do is just change that networking film mindset to networking with other things, other groups and coalitions. So there's one coalition that supports this group and this group, but they don't all know each other, but they're all on the same side, and make sure that all their information is passed and connected and so this way you get like a bigger group. They're like, oh yeah, we all support each other. That's one way of doing something. If you know you're at a cafe and you're really, really good a barista, make a couple of coffees, make a couple cold brews, or go to the protest and hand up some coafies. People
Indeed. Oh my gosh.
But whatever you're passionate about, you can do whatever your skill is, whether you perceive it be small because it's community based. That is how we build.
No, honestly, I think you did it just right.
Yes,
honestly, because it's not so much about building a resistance. I don't want that to necessarily be the focus. The whole thing is definitely building bonds, I would say.
Yeah. Indeed.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like I know people a lot of times when they are stressed, whenever they're troubled, the new phrase, it used to be live, laugh, love, but now the new phrase is like touch grass, essentially, right? So basically just
that one went over my head.
If you go out there and just take a moment for yourself, I'm trying to put a positive spin to it, all right? If you go outside and just take a moment to ground yourself in your current reality, your current scenario, you realize that the situation that you're in is not as deep as it ought be. All right, but I also want to add a little bit more to that, like when it comes down to community, because like again, we lost a great deal of that post-COVID. All right, we used to go out and like I know the malls are questionably dying now. There's a lot of people that are so used to online shopping that there's no even there's so much of a convenience of having things being brought to you that you kind of lose the desire to even interact with people out there. So we're all getting shorter with one another. I want to, as opposed to just touching grass, I want to say, shake someone's hand, all right? And like adding to that, like allows you to get to know a person on an interpersonal level. It's not necessarily about making a deal. Right. It's more about making a connection, making a bond, right? And then if a strong, cohesive bond is strong enough, it'll definitely apply resistance to anything that you guys might be against, right? When you guys have an idea to stand against something, all right? So I would say just do that for your local community.
While my sons were both talking and it hit me. Sometimes we believe that some of the things that are being said, some people maybe watch this, oh, that's all nicey, this and the other. Oh, bring coffee to something, bring water. But let me tell you this. Don't you know that there are some states in this union that have prevented people from bringing water to people who are online to vote? It's illegal to bring water and food to people who are online and vote. Why? Because I believe that the very bond and connection, people understand that if we do those things which are kind, which are good, which are nice, which are thoughtful to the people around us, we will build a coalition. We will build let's say, a homogenized, some sort of collection of people that become stronger together, and we are definitely stronger together. My father would use the demonstration, honestly, of taking one thin stick and snapping it, but then taking a bunch of thin sticks and showing how difficult it is to snap. My illustration comes from the old cartoon tropes, and how many times have we seen cartoons? And please, I'm not making the analogy of termites that we are termites, but oftentimes I've seen Popeye deal with a situation where termites come into his home, and you'll see a big table, but termites all around the table make the table disappear as they chew from their area. The one termite was not responsible for eating the entire table, but a bunch of termites were together were able to eat the entire table. So maybe, to switch it, maybe it is termite. Maybe we find our own cape to become heroes and become capable. So therefore, we are able to do these things if we do it together.
I want to see if you had one more in there. That was great.
I should have had three. No, you're good. Do good. Sorry.
Honestly, that's not the hard thing. If you don't know what we're talking about, if this is hard to like not comprehend, but if it's like you really don't see it. You did remind me of something. Honestly, watch A Bug's Life. A Bug's Life, the movie, is actually, in fact, I think I will watch A Bug's Life when I get back home. That is a movie about resistance.
That is a resistance movie.
It's a movie about resistance and not too far off from where we are.
All right, we got the 2-minute call from Nels. Nels, you got anything to add to this in the 2 minutes? He gave us a thumbs up.
He didn't just give us one thumbs up. He gave us two thumbs up.
He gave us two
the power.
The power of two, yeah. All right, let's close this out. You got one thing to say before we go?
We have forgotten a great deal of what it's like to make friends in this community. And again, I know that it's untrusting it's very questionable times nowadays, right? But we are, in fact, stronger together as a people, as a community, as two friends in the same room. A congregation is nothing but like-minded people sharing the same space, right? You don't have to look the same, you don't have to speak the same, right? But we can all think and believe that there's something to fight against. So just make sure that you are not just ranting on Facebook or YouTube and being an outward troll afraid of the comeback of your voice being heard. Be heard in a community that welcomes and accepts you.
Okay. Lex?
And if you're not quite there, because I think there are some valuable safe places online and you're still trying to do that because we don't want to discourage people's safe places, leave Facebook, leave Twitter, join Blue Sky, join smaller things where community is, again, more promoted by the people and not large organizations that seem to be being pushed to the right and more controlled.
All right. Well, thank you. This has been the community episode of Various Fields. We are better together. Please do your job and make us better. I love you guys as always. This is my core, and I tell you right now, I'm loving you guys too. Thank you for joining us once again.